With just over 1,000 population and almost entirely isolated, Greenland has to be one of the most abysmal starts in the entire game. There's really nothing here for you. Ivory, wild game, stone, fish, wool, absolutely riveting stuff. But what if we could increase the size of Greenland's population and try to move to somewhere new? Somewhere you can actually do farming. That's going to be our objective. And all we really need for it is 250 sailors and 100 gold. Not a big deal. Starting as Greenland, it's gonna take a while for us to get there. So we might as well get started. As Greenland, we do start with a unique government reform, the family sagas. It allows us to explore, recruit explorers, and invite settlers. That's quite nice. I think I'm going to have us pick up harbor administration as well for more progress towards naval, and mostly for that proximity cost through port. Not much we can do in terms of tech. Really, we can just ask for monthly diplomats. Makes sense for us. This as well, and I guess this. Then we're going to curry favors with our overlord Norway. We also want to try and be friends with Sweden and Denmark, see if we can invite a whole bunch of people over to Greenland. I like how the nobles immediately revolt, not because you were taxing them too much, but because they don't have anything. Like, it doesn't matter how much or how little we tax them, they just kind of hate living here. You know, I suddenly understand why there are so many Greenland civil wars in my games. I'm starting to get it now. This is really annoying. Nobody can win this civil war. I could surrender, I guess. I don't really want to, though. Okay, lesson learned. Do not make the nobility even a little bit upset. Noted. Oh, come on. I didn't even do anything this time. Okay, what if I give you this? Are we good now? Okay, good. All right, let's start moving some people over. Okay, Parliament, let's ask for a law change. We'll go from the traditional distribution of power to favoring the ruler. Really is great how, like, none of these options are going to be that helpful for us. I will pick up the administrative focus for the proximity cost, but it's like the only useful thing here. You know, we do get the occasional event that's like, here's 8 ducats, have fun. So eventually we will be able to build one building, in theory. And here we go, 3 ducats, let's go. Okay, you know what I really want? I want masonry. Just give me a whole lot of that. What I want even more is increased urbanization. But we'll keep on changing some laws. Swap from feudal administration to the central council. Ooh, let's go. Okay, we're gonna pick up that iron because it's the only thing that's actually useful to us. At the very least, we can sell it, maybe. Yeah, the Black Death has gotten pretty far. I guess we should probably stop trading at this point. Am I gonna spend all my money on this? Absolutely. Hey, we do get gold and the research progress is something, I guess. Now, Parliament, I really wish you would give me something useful. Alright, we're gonna conduct a census. I have no idea if we'll get any population from this. I figure probably not, but I just want to see. 1 pop per month. Riveting. Thank you so much, Parliament. Thank you so much. I'm just gonna let you know, I will absolutely save scum if I am not able to get this. Alright, let's see it. Oh my god, there's so many things we have to sacrifice. It's worth it. It's all worth it. Alright, we have a town. Truly incredible stuff. Oh, and of course, now I have to buy food for the city because they make less food now. And I can't even tax them that much because if I try to tax the nobility, they do this. I wasn't even taxing them. I just wanted to build a city, and they didn't like that because I had to change so many things. Here, nobility, you want this? There you go. Happy? Not happy. Well, screw you too. Well, I'm pretty happy because I get to go to Norway and ask them for some money. They're like the only country we can ask for money. Now, this is the first building we get to build in this entire game. We have to choose wisely. And actually, what I'm going to do is import some glass real quick. Now with that glass, we should be able to build a marketplace. You know, I hadn't actually considered how I'm going to get people to become burgers. I just kind of thought it would solve itself with the promotion. Well, we're going to swap one of these laws back. Favor the ruler again. What if I change my employment system? No, didn't think so. And we've run out of favors from both Sweden and Denmark. Can't really curry anymore to get more settlers. I did just remember actually that you could get some settlers from the Isles. So we're going to do that as well. Okay, so you need to have at least 500 peasants in a location before any of them will promote to a different social class. So really, it would be quite nice if we could encourage migration specifically into Garther here. And we probably don't want to make a second town. We will conduct a census for that one additional pop. Let's go. And you know what I actually just realized? No one's allowed to move anywhere. Okay, how about now? They're allowed to move, they just don't want to. Okay, that's fair, actually. Alright, burgers, I'm going to need that trade capacity. I also need that tax efficiency. Oh, right, I just looks up the nobility. This actually would be good to pick up if we can. Pretty big if, though. What do you want? Manorial courts? That's actually not too bad. Fine, you can have that. 'Cause now we can do a lot more trading. Oh, look at that beautiful income. Well, look at us now. It's only been like 35 years, but hey, we almost have 5,000 pops. Not that they're really doing much, but they do exist. I can give them credit for that. You know, that tax capacity has been going up. I'm doing so little that I'm actually having a moment of self-reflection. It's another one of those video ideas that sounds a lot better in my head, and then I actually do it, and it just sucks the entire time. Now, do I do this because I enjoy doing it, or because you guys enjoy watching it? I'm not sure. If you are enjoying watching it, though, leaving a like would be really appreciated. And if you subscribe, I promise I will not do another one of these. Unless you really want me to, then maybe. But look, the population of the capital is 831. That means we've had 3 promotions to burghers so far. So we've already done maybe 40% of the hard part. We've increased the population 5-fold. We have made a building, and that building is being employed. What more could you really ask for? Of course, we're just gonna keep on conducting a census. We're just gonna keep on doing it, see if we can get some population. I think at this point I may have exhausted all of my opportunities to invite settlers. Well, let's ask France for some more money. 2.7 ducats this time. We're moving up even more money. It must be my birthday. I do want to build a fishing village here, but first what I'm going to do is go to our market. We're just going to import a little bit of masonry real quick. Yeah, there we go. Now the price is so much lower. Actually, I should have done that with the marketplace as well. Imported masonry and glass, probably. Oh well. Okay, so we're going to get rid of this. We're going to reduce this RGO. All these laborers are going to like demote back into peasants for me. Because funny enough, we're actually getting like almost the exact same amount of fish. We're just also getting trade capacity. Then of course we want to import more masonry. Then we're just going to do the same thing over here actually. We're going to swap over to burgher-controlled mining operations just so we can get more progress towards capital economy. We're probably going to need it. I'd also like to get rid of our decentralization from communal lands. The commoners don't like that very much, but I'm sure we'll solve that problem before it actually becomes an issue. Actually, similar with the burghers, we're going to get rid of market fairs. All right, France, please, more money, please, thank you. Actually, you know what, now that we have money, at least some amount of money, I might start building some of these settlements. We can put up at least 2 of them. One over here, but one over here as well. Oh, these actually don't take too much. Only 250 pops, that's not bad. You know what is bad though? These guys are actually kind of upset. I thought we solved this problem. Okay, I'm gonna pay you to stop revolting, thank you. It is kind of funny that so much of our income is from this one policy in the Catholic Church. Maybe indulgences weren't so bad. These settlements are going to require some upkeep though, so we're gonna have to use some of our trade capacity for lumber. And a little bit for wild game. I didn't actually expect to be in any war actually, but that's cool. No, that's fine. What are they gonna do? Invade Greenland? Go ahead, we don't have anything. Oh, I kind of forgot. I should have given you this. And what do you have for me, Parliament? Nothing of value? Well, that's what I like to see. Okay, well, we'll do this. We've reduced the price of settlements once again. We're gonna go ahead and build one in here, and we're gonna build one over here. Oh, actually, I feel a little stupid. I should have built one in here. Seems the settlements are actually being employed first, which is what I want, so that's good. Look at us now, 15 population per month. We are, of course, importing 10 from Norway right now, but having a flat 5 is not too bad. We did have so much more population growth in the beginning because we, could actually invite people from a bunch of different countries. But now since we can only invite people from Norway, we've maxed out our favors with everybody else. Having some consistent homegrown population is amazing. Well, until each of these locations gets like 1.3 thousand, I think. That's why I want to move them all into the capital, but they just don't really want to move into the capital. Apparently, a new trick was discovered to make the game run faster, which is a godsend. It does require me to have this mod that I just installed. I guess it technically doesn't have to be installed, but it allows me to open up the debug menu here. So if you go into debug, type in tweak, and then disable these 2 things, maybe just this one, the game runs kind of insanely fast. This is significantly faster than I've ever seen this game run. So I'm going to use this for the rest of this campaign, I think. It does absolutely tank my frames though. Let's see if we can bolster the government a little. Yeah, low chance of that happening, but we'll see. What if we focus on land? And then, kind of got nothing. We can contain a little bit of banking, and then we'll click this button. Cool. That was probably a really bad idea. We do get crown power for the next 10 years. That's nice. Oh, you know, this actually isn't too bad of an idea. I just wouldn't do it this way. I'll probably just, like, build a regular granary in here. These locations are getting a little too close to having too much population. So I'm just gonna, like, move them over a little bit. If they reach 5% of the population cap here, then they actually delete their settlement buildings, which means all that money we put into here is going to disappear immediately. I'd also like to import less wild game, so this kind of works out. Also, France, can I have money? Thank you. Oh yeah, since we did actually technically help Sweden with that one war, we can ask them to give us some people. At least in theory, they're not actually moving though. Okay, that's weird. I guess they're just not actually going to send us people. Alright. I also asked Norway for some settlers and they just didn't send me anything, so I don't really know what's up with that interaction. I'm going to try inviting settlers again, this time only to where my capital is. Okay, it works when I send them to the capital, just not to the other province, which is weird. I guess that's how we're doing it from now on. Wonder actually if I can use this method to try and get a whole bunch of people to move to the capital. Because ideally we just have everybody move here. It only took us almost a century, but hey, our population is above 10,000. Unfortunately, it seems the fish-based economy is starting to fall apart. Yeah, we have like no food in the market. Even with all these fishing villages, it's not enough. We'll take a second to import a whole bunch of wheat. That should hopefully solve some of the problem. Okay, it's clearly not enough wheat. This is pretty bad, because we really don't want to start taking out loans just to feed the population. That's when things get really bad, like right now. Okay, so we actually have too many people. We're going to close all of our settlements. We're going to stop subsidizing the fishing villages as well, I think. We're just going to try and import food and fix the economy. I didn't think I was going to end up with an issue where I had too many pops in Greenland. But to be fair, yeah, there's really not a lot of food up here either. I really should have thought about that. Oh yeah, and when winter hits, it's still absolutely crippling, of course. Of course. Even though there actually is some decent food in both these provinces, they just like to take my money. They don't want to subsist on what they have. They're like, no. We need to make sure we have a full stockpile, even during the winter. Okay, at the very least, we are now capable of rebuilding the food stockpiles and building up the stockpile in the market. Now that we've done that, we're going to pay off some of those loans because they're kind of crippling my crown power. Okay, the price of food has come down dramatically, and we actually also want to maybe get some wild game in here. Oh yeah, we can actually embrace professional armies. Not entirely sure what I'm going to do with that, but we'll at least get started on something. Alright, let's go to the market, and instead of importing food, now we're going to import a few tools, just for a little bit, so we can make this cheaper and expand the wild game. Age of Discovery. Yeah, we have played that long, haven't we? Well, we barely have a country, so we're going with admin focus again. This time because we can get more trade capacity and reduced building costs. Fortunately, whenever we get an institution, it actually does spread fairly quickly because of how small the country is. So even if it does take forever to get here, at least it propagates pretty quickly. There we go, banking's super cheap now. Micromanaging population growth is probably like one of the bottom 10 things you can do in this game. I mean, it is working. We're almost at 20,000 pops already, but I mean, the whole gameplay loop has been, okay, let's expel people from this province to one location here, and expel everyone from this province to the capital, because these two locations are not going to have settlements in them, so everything else can start building population. The main export of every location except for this one and the capital is population. That's all they're there for. And I've been looking around to see who I can curry more favors with, but it's like nobody. Like I can't curry enough favors with anybody to ask for money. We do get another government reform from the Renaissance. We'll pick up the crown power, estate satisfaction decay, and increased centralization. Alright, we have finally managed to put a decent number of people in the capital. I'm pretty happy with the growth of the population. I feel like we can definitely allow some of these settlements to disappear, and I wouldn't be too upset. At the very least, we can start building things that are actually kind of useful. Oh hey, even the peasants are chipping in, that's nice. Now, we don't have that many burghers in the capital, but fortunately, none of these buildings are going to be 100% profitable all the time, because they simply produce faster than a lot of our pops can consume, and we don't have that much trade capacity. So we do have enough burghers to hop between buildings, and each time they'll be a little bit profitable for a few months, and then they'll swap to another one. Overall, this should reduce our need to import things such as, well, naval supplies, for example. Someone gifted us an early Carrack. I don't know if I'm taking care of this heavy ship. That's a lot of sailor maintenance. Thank you, though, I guess. That's kind of cool. I wish I could sell ships the way I can in EU4, but oh well. I think we're just going to have to get rid of it. It's just so expensive. Now, once we fix the problem with the market and, you know, the food issue that we have, there being zero food in Greenland, ideally we should be able to import something that makes more money, and we can use that money to build ourselves an Etripot. There might have also been a massive update in the middle of me recording this because I do not remember the burgers being this happy. Or the commoners, for that matter. Okay, the market food is at max, so we're going to stop importing wheat. We're going to let the market figure out what's best to trade with. Ooh, free money event? Love those. Okay, hold on. Okay, maybe I actually can build one of these soon. If only I could get the price of the lumber to be cheaper. Actually, wait, we can do that. I imported lumber and the price of lumber went up. That's not usually a good sign. Oh, because the settlements also didn't have any. Ah, shoot, of course. There we go. Yeah, we still have an absolutely enormous food problem. That's great. But hey, once we have this built, it's going to be another 5 trading capacity. Oh yeah, we don't have any pottery. Hold on. Let's import like a little bit of pottery. You know, having to micromanage all of this trade has really got me thinking. I think it would be nice if we could like have an automatic trade set up for specific goods. Like, oh, I want lumber. Please automatically trade what is going to get me the best price for lumber. I think that would be cool because the automatic trade system as it is, it's kind of helpful after you import all the things you need. Like it can help you make the most money, but sometimes I want to make the most money on things that I also need. Anyway, we can get a little bit of printing press. That sounds good to me, especially since I have run out of things to research. These states are building so many things in Garther, I can't even actually build something myself. Fortunately, one of those things is a dock just by pure chance, so I do appreciate them building that, but not so sure I like the sand and the clay pits. Although, actually, well, we do need clay and sand. You know what? I can't blame them. Let's just make sure we have like one of everything being built locally in the market so that we import as little as possible. We could continue to promote urbanization. What's weird is that these settlements aren't actually disappearing once we get above 5% population capacity. Because 5% for this province would be like 1250, I think. But the population's 1743 and it's still here. So maybe it's 10%. In any case, we're just not going to touch any of these. We're just gonna keep them there. And we're not gonna promote urbanization. Look at us now, actual income. Well, kind of. We do now have some sailors, courtesy of that dock that was just built. Not a lot of sailors, we do need a lot more soldiers, but we should actually be able to explore, surprisingly. We're not even the first one to discover the New World, darn. I was hoping we could be the first one. So close, too. We just got the dock and enough money. Well, that's okay. We can be the second to explore. Off we go. Oh, exploration is crazy expensive. Oh no. I kind of forgot about that small little caveat there. Better be fast with it. Oh, we can get a really good explorer too. He is expensive, but his stats are good enough that I think it's actually worth it. And we have discovered a little bit of the coast of Canada. Now, as far as I can tell, I'm pretty sure the land of Vinland is like Newfoundland itself. And then I think the Vinland sagas also refer to Markland, which I think is the coast of Labrador. And then way up here you have Helluland. Whether Icelandic explorers actually made it as far as up here, I have no idea. I think we only have solid evidence for the site in Newfoundland. I think for us though, we're probably going to try and settle in Nova Scotia or New Brunswick. I don't remember what raw goods exist, but I think there's less lumber in Newfoundland and we'd like to have some lumber, so we're gonna move down here. We're gonna balance the budget to make that happen, hopefully. Off to Acadia we go. Oh, that one's gonna take a long time. I actually don't know if I have the money for this. You'd think I would have learned from my mistakes last time. Nope. Okay, we're just gonna like lower that a little bit. It's fine if it takes longer. One of the problems is that somehow we managed to get, what was it, 85% towards free subjects? I don't even know how we got here, to be honest. But yeah, that's why we can't tax the peasants very much. Alright, we have actually discovered the area. Now for us to colonize this, what do we have to do again? Oh yeah, that's too far away. And there's really not much we can do about that. Not until we have New World. Speaking of which, hey, that sounds really good. If we can put down a little salt collector in the capital, then we shouldn't have to worry about importing any more salts. Because that's a lot of our trade capacity, and we shouldn't spend it on that. We can very easily embrace pike and shot now. And we'll start researching a little bit. Not that there's anything too useful in this tech for us. Although I would like a House of Parliament, that would be nice. Trade advantage, sure, once we actually build ships, that's useful. Maximum RGO in rural, merchants' quarters, those are useful actually. I think I really should have clamped down on some of the estate privileges earlier. But we're going to use this debate to reduce the power of the nobility. And I kind of want to get rid of this. Like, there's no reason for us to have fortification licenses. Okay, we are getting, for some reason, insane support in the Althing. So, actually, I'm going to ask for another law change. We'll change from martial society to a civil society so we can tax the peasants more. You know, I haven't really considered it up to now, but maybe it's worth building a ship. Maybe like one bark. Oh wait, the nobility are actually still upset? So it's kind of been a while. You guys are at nearly 45 satisfaction. Oh yeah, stability's low, I guess. Okay. Here, you want money? Jingle jingle. Here's some money. I hate dealing with the nobility. Now, what am I gonna do with one ship? Probably just patrol this one area. Oh, every time this ship leaves the port, it dies. That's lovely. I don't really know what to say to that. It can't actually do anything because every time it leaves, it takes 10% attrition. Oh yeah, wait a second. Okay, so we have the new Treaty of Palestrina here. Well, I guess who signed this? That's right. It's between the Pope and Castile again, of course. Okay, so this time we actually will take the diplomatic focus. This gives us a bunch of trade, tax efficiency. That's nice. I'm also going to violate the treaty. I don't care even a little bit. Thank you. Wait, why is Sweden outside of my diplomatic range? What did they change? What happened? What have you done, Paradox? What have you done to us? You somehow made Greenland harder? Oh yeah, my ship's getting absolutely tanked. Oh my god. Yeah, no, you can't do anything, actually. It might actually die in port. That's not even a joke. It's taking infinite damage. Maybe that's what happens when you don't have a protected harbor. Could be. Maybe. I'm also sending a whole bunch of people over to this province because I might want to make this into a town, maybe? Not sure yet. As it turns out, you can't just neglect the population in Greenland outside of the cities. If you just build a really big town, then they're gonna need a lot of food. And because we don't have infinite trade capacity, you end up spending more of that trade capacity on food. So the population growth's gonna have to slow down a little bit. Or we can ignore that completely and just make some merchants' quarters, which are immediately being built by the burghers. I wonder why. Ooh, look what we have here. Administration of shipyards. -2 proximity cost through port, more progress towards naval. Every owned coastal urban location gets harbor capacity. Hell yeah. I actually should have built a library in the capital a really long time ago, and I feel really stupid for not doing so. Of course, a library gives you more institution growth, so that would have been really helpful in hindsight. You know what? We'll also get a market warehouse. It feels so weird to like actually have income. And not much of a tax base, but at least some kind of tax base. We make more money than Wales at least, so there's that. My goal actually is to make more money than Iceland. Oh wow, that treaty did not stand for very long. I guess I didn't really have to violate that, but whatever. Sponsor a university. Yeah, I don't know about that. We will do this though. Another early Carrick. Thank you for that. Not sure if I'm gonna keep it though. Well, you know what, actually it isn't that expensive. The problem, of course, is that it takes infinite damage. Even in this protected harbor that I'm building, it's still going to take a lot of damage. Yeah, it's actually just not worth having. Oh, wait a second. Greenland has a population of 56,000, almost 57,000. Okay. Well, we still crossed 40,000 pops. I think that's something, right? Oh, also, wait a second. Norway actually did go ahead and colonize this, but they didn't want to give it to me. Thank you, Norway. Very cool. Actually, do you want to sell that to me? I would buy that. No? What are you going to do with that? With that 14% maximum control? And what is this? Bohemia? Colonizing Greenland? This is cursed. I mean, yeah, I kind of didn't get around to it because honestly, it's not worth anything. That's cool. Thank you, Bohemia. Enjoy your 16% maximum control in that one stone province. Actually, yeah, wait a second. Because Bohemia has institutions, they're spreading them over here, and then I get those institutions. This is not such a bad deal, actually. Oh, but you are actually reducing the food supply, so that's not great. Okay, at this point we actually can embrace New World. Lovely. First thing we need from that is, of course, this for another 600 colonial range. This would be nice as well for the create a colonial charter cost reduction. Maybe more Diplo range. That would be nice. There we go. Food production, that makes sense. Proximity through maritime. Proximity through ports. Okay, we should actually be able to settle in Nova Scotia now. And there actually is like some really good harbor capacity over here. So we might as well start in this general direction. Now the question is, how many people can we actually send to the colonies? We don't have very many. We are sending a total of 13 people. Let's go. But we did just pick this up, so it is a little bit faster. All right, diplomatic range has increased. Can I ask for Swedes to come over, please? Still outside of the range? That's great. Oh, that's cool. Our very first location has been built. Of course, the estates find any excuse to spend money. I'm going to invest in a settlement here, even though I'm not sure if they'll actually be able to build anything yet. There is barely a market in this place. Well, there's barely any pop in this place. Now that we have that first colony, though, we are able to colonize significantly faster, which is absolutely draining our population. Oh yeah, you actually don't have a market over here yet, do you? What even is this market? Oh, yeah, okay, we'll have to fix that. And a second location has been built. Is this getting any progress? Buildings cannot function because they have no market access. Okay, never mind. Nothing's being built there. Let's go. Oh, we can send people directly to these colonies now. That's actually a really good idea. We're not sending anybody. No locations to migrate from with our culture and religion greater than 1,000 pops. Okay, I don't think that's actually true. I think that number is supposed to be, I would say 5,000 pops, but actually that's not true either. So I don't know what's up with that. Also, can't really build any buildings anymore at this point. Don't really want to turn those into towns. Well, we could turn this into a town, I guess. What if I get rid of this charter and then reassign it? Make a new one, but from Garther. That should work, right? There's no way that wouldn't work. Okay. Yeah, no, that's completely cooked. I did just get that cabinet action. We can boost a colonial charter. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. I guess we'll find out. Nope. Well, darn. Huh. Well, I guess we can't really play Colonial Greenland then. That's unfortunate. I really wanted to at least get one colony down and then call it a day, but I guess we'll have to end the video earlier than expected. And, well, to be fair, I have played like 230 years of Greenland. I think I deserve a break. I feel like I didn't do too poorly. Although I don't think it can be replicated because we were able to get settlers from Denmark and Sweden in the early game, which was super important. But now Sweden and Denmark are both outside of our diplomatic range, and I feel like that was an update thing, so maybe that doesn't work anymore. I was actually currying some favors with Poland though, because I'm pretty sure their subject is within range. So yes, actually, they are. So at the very least, we would have been able to get a couple more people in here. But yeah, Greenland, that is one of the campaigns of all time. We have a tax base of 36.78, which is actually not too bad. An income of 21.54. That's actually nowhere near Iceland's, I'm pretty sure. Well, it's not too bad actually, it's pretty close. A population of 46.3 thousand, a little bit lower than modern day Greenland, but not bad for 1567. If I wanted to keep on torturing myself and playing Greenland for another, I don't know, 100 years, I'm sure we would get the population high enough to colonize at least one small part of Canada. And then from there, I was hoping I'd be able to use this other interaction. Over here, you can send people to the colonies. So I was hoping I'd be able to just migrate half the population over and then just release and play as Vinland. But seems like we kinda can't do that, which is a shame. But there you have it, Greenland. Now you don't have to play it, or maybe you do, just to see if you can do better than I did. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy today's video, leaving a like would be super appreciated. And of course, more EU5 videos are on the way, so if there are any countries you want me to cover, which you haven't seen anybody cover yet, then do let me know. But for now, I hope you have a fantastic day. A special thank you to the patrons this month. In particular, thank you very much to Erica, Born to Dunk, Gallo4, Gorka Maistegi, The Quebecer, Mikhail Sample, Nick Schneffel, Princess Rhea, Q-Brute, Spiro, Tillman Augustin, A.G. Forero, Ben Mottram, Quiet Guy, Rosset, Torvald, Ambient Cyan, Elysia Tatze, James Levy, Luke78776, and Robert.